Hello and welcome to the channel. It used to be that in democracy, the people had the final say on who they want to rule them. That is why it says in its definition, it is the power of the people, for the people, and by the people. The key word there is people. But not for the first time since we started the practice. It is fair to say that in Nigeria, it has never been about the people, and in actual fact, the people do not have a say in who leads them. That power after the February 25th presidential election now rests with 5 judges who, with their singular course of action, will shape the destiny of this country. We take an in-depth look at all 5 of them, and if at the end of their ruling, no matter how long it takes, will restore the power of democracy back to the people. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. Presidential election. Things to note about 5 judges who will decide Tinubu's fate. About 24 million voters gathered in February at over 176,000 voting points across the country to choose Nigeria's next president, but only 5% will cast crucial votes at the first of 2 court stages in a conference room in Abuja in September. The fate of the president-elect, Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress APC, will continue to hang in the balance months after he would have been inaugurated as Nigeria's president on 29 May. His stay in office will still be steeped in uncertainties until the handful of judges that will hear the cases challenging his victory hand down their verdicts. Election petitions set the stage for a paradox for democracy to break its prime majority rule. The choice of the minority can take the place of the decision of the majority. The court will review a mix of varied, tricky, legal and factual questions that have been raised in 3 petitions pending before the court. After the courtroom fireworks that promised to last months, the 5 jurists will retire to their conference room, a drab, small conclave in the sprawling complex of the Court of Appeal headquarters, perched on the fringes of the Three Arms Zone, Abuja, the domicile of Nigeria's highest executive, legislative, and judicial powers to deliberate and possibly vote to take a final decision in case there are disagreements on issues thrown up at the trial. They will return to a packed courtroom to announce their decision whether the result of the 25th February presidential election declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) on 1st March was valid or not valid. The court has up to September, the end of a statutory period of 180 days from March when the aggrieved candidates filed their petitions, to give its decision. The decision is, however, not final, as a displeased party can still appeal to the Supreme Court. But lawyers say the Court of Appeal's decision sets the tone of the final decision of the Supreme Court, either in concurrence or in disagreement. Using publicly available information, Premium Times presents profiles of the 5 appeal court jurists who will give the much-awaited vital decision in September. Haruna Simon Tsamani. Mr. Tsamani, who hails from Tafawa Balewa local government area of Bauchi State, was unveiled as the presiding justice of the 5-member panel of the Presidential Election Petition Court last week. The 63-year-old, who occupies a relatively distant 12th position on the seniority list of the 76 judges of the Court of Appeal, must be well regarded to be appointed to head the panel, a prized responsibility that is ordinarily reserved for the president of the court, some lawyers have said. Called to the Nigerian bar after undergoing 1-year-long legal studies at the Nigerian Law School in Lagos in 1983, Mr. Tsamani has spent the last 4 decades of his life in the legal profession. This was after he completed his law degree program at Ahmadu Bello University, Abu Zaria between 1972 and 1982. The experienced jurist began his journey on the bench with his appointment as a judge of the High Court of Bauchi State on September 17, 1998, about 24 years ago. The longest-serving justice of the Court of Appeal among the 5 members of the panel, Mr. Tsamani, has spent half of his 24 years as a judge on the Court of Appeal bench, which he was elevated to on 16 July 2010. Stephen Jonah Adah. Mr. Adah hails from the Kina local government area of Kogi State in north-central Nigeria. Number 23 on the list of justices of the Court of Appeal, he is the second most senior judge on the panel of the Presidential Election Petition Court. He is currently the presiding justice of the division of the court in Asaba, Delta State. Mr. Adah is 65 years old. He is equally a graduate of the Law Faculty of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and the Lagos campus of the Nigerian Law School. He was called to the Nigerian bar in 1982, about 41 years ago, a year earlier than Mr. Tsamani. Misitura Bolaji-Yusuf. Mrs. Bolaji-Yusuf, the only female member of the panel of the Presidential Election Petition Court, hails from Oyo West local government area of Oyo State, southwest Nigeria. The jurist, a law graduate of the Law Faculty of Obafemi Awolowo University, is 63 years old. Appointed to the Court of Appeal on 24 March 2014, about 9 years ago, Mrs. Bolaji-Yusuf now occupies the 31st position on the roll call of the judges of the court. Before her elevation to the Court of Appeal bench, she had put in a total of 17 years into her judicial career, which began with her appointment to the High Court of Oyo State on 30th January 1997. Bolukworumo Moses Ugo. Mr. Ugo hails from Kolokuma local government area in Bayelsa State, south Nigeria. At 57, he is the youngest among the judges on the panel of the Presidential Election Petition Court. The graduate of the Law Faculty of the University of Calabar was appointed to the Court of Appeal bench on 24 March 2014, making this year's 9th on the court's bench, where he occupies the 44th position on the roll call. Before his elevation to the Court of Appeal, he served as a judge of the Bayelsa State High Court for 8 years, dating back to his appointment on 21st March 2014. In total, Mr. Ugo has put in a total of 17 years to his career on the bench and a total of 33 years to his legal profession that started with his call to bar in 1990. He also attended the Lagos campus of the Nigerian Law School between 1989 and 1990. Abba Bello Mohammed. Mr. Mohammed hails from Kano State, northwest Nigeria, and is the third Abu Zaria graduate on the Presidential Election Petition Court panel. He was called to the Nigerian bar in 1984, marking the beginning of his legal career of about 39 years. Like the other members of the panel, Mr. Mohammed was called to bar after passing his bar examinations at the Lagos campus of the Nigerian Law School. The 62-year-old has less than 2 years on the Court of Appeal bench as he was appointed on 28 June 2021, the last time judges were appointed to the Court of Appeal bench. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.